I'm Heidi Zach, co-founder and CEO of Third Love. Third Love is an online brand for bras and underwear, like really focused on helping women be comfortable and confident in their everyday lives.
Since this video is for younger aspiring teenage entrepreneurs, what would you tell a girl who feels too young or too inexperienced to start her own company?
I think it doesn't actually matter how old you are. You're always, what I would say, too young and too inexperienced to start your own company. I mean, I think even when you're older, like you never, I think one of the things I've learned is that in life, you always think like the people who are ahead of you have all the answers and know everything. Um, and then when you start doing that and moving up and working, you realize like most people are figuring things out every day in whatever they do. And so if you are passionate about something or an idea, that's what's most important, not so much your level of experience, but like how excited are you, how hard are you willing to work, because that's what'll make it successful.
Definitely. You're always learning new things every day. And what do you think is the most important first step in starting a company?
um, I think first step is really understanding the landscape, so really knowing sort of who your competitors are, and so that you understand sort of what's already going on in the market. And then two, whether there's a real need and desire for what you're creating, whatever that is. Like, do people actually want your service or your product? Is it something that people are going to engage with, pay money for? um, and those are probably the two most important things to start, would be just the market, and then like what what you're trying to create is desirable.
As every entrepreneur knows, there are ups and downs to every company and just your career. So, what have been some of the most challenging parts of entrepreneurship, and how have you handled those setbacks?
Yeah, I think the most challenging part of being a founder is you hear no a lot and things go wrong. Like every day, things go wrong. Sort of the untold story, I think, of running a company, because what you see in the media, or, you see the end result, which is like lovely and awesome, but you don't see how, as they say, how the sausage is made. And the sausage is made usually by making mistakes and hearing a lot of no's. So I think that was probably the biggest thing that I had to get used to and grow thicker skin to deal with, was, hearing people say they didn't want to invest, or they didn't want to be our partner, or that kind of thing. And you got to roll with it. And I think you learn to take each of those moments to that point of being a learning opportunity, and really asking why and not being too sensitive, and then like moving on to the next thing and letting it roll off your back.
Definitely. So, on the flip side of that, what have been your most satisfying or rewarding moments with Third Love?
Um, so many. I mean, I think the biggest thing is when I meet somebody who wears our products and is like, oh my God, I've never had a bra that fit, or it's so comfortable. Like, I just love your brand, or I love the fact that you showcase women who have, tattoos or rolls and like don't have the like quote unquote perfect body. Whatever those aspects are, like hearing those women talk, are they're real people and we've made a positive impact. And that is what is most rewarding.
I can totally understand why. So, as a woman founded company and for women, clearly, how do you address the gender gap in the entrepreneurial space?
Um, yeah, I mean, we're fortunate at Third Love where our company is mostly women who work here, and obviously we serve women. And so we're sort of an anomaly in Silicon Valley, at least, in terms of like the makeup and composition. But um, my goal is to really help other women grow into leadership positions and take on more responsibility. And I also do angel investing in early stage startups of female founded companies. So I kind of approach it in two ways. Like, what can I do internally at Third Love, to create more opportunity? And can I do externally to support women who are just starting companies and give advice of things I wish I would have known 8 years ago.
So, since you brought that up, we're going to do a little time travel. And if you could go back to the founding of Third Love and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
Um, just like make the tough decisions quicker. I think the hardest thing is like when you encounter a tough decision, it's a tough decision. And that means like you debate it and you spend all this time on it. And it's an emotionally, like, emotionally distracting as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's human nature to try to like avoid making hard decisions. I think we all do it personally and professionally at different moments. And so I think that's the biggest advice would be like the quicker you make the tough decision, the quicker you move on and feel better and start on a better path. And I think we all lose sight of that because you're like in the moment. And so I think just make the tough decision, do it quickly, and like move ahead.
That is a great point to bring up. I never really thought about that. I'll take that advice myself.
Yeah.
So in addition to that skill, what would you say are the top 3 skills every entrepreneur needs to be successful?
So the first would be like resilience. You knew I was going to probably say that. I think you need to be able to come back from setbacks. That's one. The second, I would say, is passion. Like I said, you are going to live and breathe whatever it is for a very long time. And if you don't love it, you'll never succeed because it's too hard. We all should do things that we're really passionate about. Um, the third, let's see, there's so many things I could pick. The third thing I'd say is I think you really need a real sense of self. I don't know if I've ever given this answer actually in an interview, but like, I think what I've come to realize is like, you as a founder have to evolve. And so you really need to understand like who you are, what you do well, and like have a sense of self so that you can lead others, so that you can motivate others and like create your best self. So just an awareness of that and like a dedication to improvement is important.
Wow, that was some deep advice. I hope the girls take it to heart. Switching gears a little, how do you address diversity in the workplace? I saw Third Love recently launched more skin tones, and you talked a little about the TL effect on your website. Can you speak more about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, inclusion means a lot of things. It means size, it can mean age demographic, it can mean ethnicity, absolutely. And so we launched our naked shades in 2017, so like three years ago. So we have multiple skin tones, not just one shade, since obviously there's a variety of skin tones in the world. So that's on the physical product side, what we've done as it relates to sort of how Third Love is supporting, Black Lives Matter and just females of color. I have a real respect for the challenges they face because even as a female founder, it's difficult. And then you layer on another element of being a minority, and it becomes even more challenging. So yeah, we implemented a program called Third Love Effect or the TL Effect, and we got 700 applicants for this first batch, which we're picking the finalist in the next week. And we'll be giving this female founder of color a grant and support internally, mentorship, and then promoting her business on Third Love to our audience. So just really a way not to just give back like one time, but hopefully if she can be successful, she can hire and build a very successful company and then also mentor other women who come through the program like behind her. So we're hoping it has more legs than just like a one-time event that we might do.
Wow, that is so exciting. I'll definitely check back next week to see who you choose.
Yeah.
Um, so can you talk a little bit about the founding of Third Love, how you started it, and what the name means?
Yeah, so I mean, Third Love, I just saw a real opportunity to create like a modern bra brand. I mean, going back 8 years, there were no online bra brands, and I don't think most women want to go to the store to buy a bra. It's not like a social shopping experience where
Yeah.
some categories you might shop with your friends and it's fun. Like bras aren't probably one of those. And then, the brand Victoria's Secret, even today, it's
Mhm.
evolved some, but the focus on the idea of sexy and selling to men is like most women, you put on a bra and underwear to like do what you're going to do during the day or to look good
Yeah.
under your clothes. Like that's really 99% of the use of the product. And so really kind of flipping everything on its head to say we're going to market and sell towards women and make sure people, or try to make people feel really included and be seen in our brand. And so that was really the genesis of the idea. And Third Love is about creating a third option or a third love for women. So this idea that you can have a comfortable bra or a beautiful bra that's scratchy, but you'll never wear it. We wanted to create something that was comfortable and pretty. The idea that you're a B cup or a C cup, we created a B and a half. So really trying to like flip everything around and create something that was differentiated and that um, made women feel that they were part of the Third Love community.
That is so cool. I love the name. I
Yeah.
never thought of that. So when you were starting your first company, or Third Love especially, who was your biggest inspiration?
Hmm. Oh, that's a hard question. I mean, I think for the company, it was really like everyone, I mean, all the women in my life. So from like mentors, like my mom, my friends, like, I mean, really, it wasn't, this isn't a celebrity driven company or something like that. It was really about like all these real women doing amazing things and really creating something that they could be a part of and see themselves in. And so, not one person in particular, but I think like everyone that, we always had the idea of like, can our moms buy this product? Like, can our friends, like at some point, would I be proud to have my daughter wear it? You know what I mean? Like, really, can we create something that's pretty encompassing and like multi-generational as well was important.
Well, it seems like Third Love is definitely very customer focused, which is great. And I saw you guys work with a lot of charities and St. Anthony's. Can you talk a little bit about Third Love giving back? I know you've mentioned it before.
Yeah, we're a mid to premium brand. Our bras are around $50 to $60. And so not all women obviously can afford to buy that bra. And so it was important for us to be able to like have a way to give back to women in everywhere, but in particular in San Francisco. So we're the largest donor of bras in the country. We've donated $30 million worth of bras and underwear to many different organizations, most obviously focused on either women or teens, homeless shelters, um, and and other types of organizations, Dress for Success, et cetera. St. Anthony's actually in San Francisco, we've worked with for years, and just really making sure women have those foundational garments that they need. It's really, really hard for those type of organizations to have undergarments because you can't really donate them, meaning
Right.
like
Yeah.
your average person can't. So as a company, we've worked really hard to give them those supplies. Same with Dress for Success. Like you can go and get a suit there to do an interview and get training. But like if you don't have the right bra and underwear, like the suit may not fit you well. Like it may not look
Right.
as good as it could. It may not give that woman confidence when she puts on the suit. So like having that first layer is important. So finding organizations we can partner with has been important.
That is wonderful. And on that good note, I have a couple more questions in there, some fun ones. So, when you guys accomplish a goal, how do you celebrate?
Um, well, we used to do things like big like get-togethers and like when we launched actually some new sizes 2 years ago, we did a big party where we had all these little cupcakes with different like breast shapes on top,
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
there's a lot of images of breasts around our office, not real ones, like
Yeah.
drawings. um and so but generally, like, we would do stuff like that. Now that we're remote, we do a lot of things on Slack. So like kudos channel, like giving shout outs. We have 5 company values. And so weekly, we actually had a all hands today. We give out an award for a teammate that's really representing that value in their day to day or in something they accomplish. So trying to recognize our team in front of others, even virtually, to celebrate.
That's great. I definitely want to implement something like that when I'm older in my company.
Yeah.
So, lastly, can you share a funny story from your career?
Oh my goodness. Funny story.
There's always
You
some
didn't
people.
you didn't prep me on this one. Let me think of something funny that happened. Like brain dead. Ah. I don't know if I have a good
Just
funny
like a
story.
fun moment.
Um, I mean, I think that I actually okay. So I do have a funny story. I did think of one. So in the very early days of Third Love, there was 4 of us, and this is when Shark Tank, the show,
Mhm.
you know it, yeah.
Yeah.
Shark Tank, it was the first season, so this is like 7 or 8 years ago. We had just started Third Love. It was the first season of Shark Tank, and somehow we got introduced to Damon John, who's on the show.
Mhm.
And so he was like, "Oh, come down." Come to the set in LA and we'll have you as guests and you can watch like one of the first season, like one of the episodes being filmed. And we're like, this is very cool. But we had no money and we hadn't raised any money and we hadn't launched Third Love. Like I don't even know if we had named the company yet, like very early days.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have money to like buy all of us tickets, even to like fly on Southwest down to LA from San Francisco. And so we decided we would drive, which takes like, 6 to 7 hours in traffic. And we
Mhm.
had to be there at like 10 a.m. or something. I forgot what time. And so we got up at like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. and we
Oh.
loaded up the car and like the 4 of us drove down and we got there at like right on time and we park and before we go in my husband, my co-founder, turns to us and he's like, if anyone asks, we didn't drive, we and so like we went in and we were like, because we were like, we didn't want to like seem like small, like
Yeah.
whatever, like, you know what I mean? And so
Uh-huh.
we totally like, we're like, oh yeah, we flew down, like, even though we had spent like the past 7 hours driving down and we were all like super tired.
Oh
And then we
my
got
God.
literally after filming, we didn't have a hotel. So we got back in the car and we drove back to San Francisco all within like 24 hours. It was funny. We got home at like 2 in the morning. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that has to be like a world record of travel or something. That
It was
is,
it was not fun, but yeah.
well, it's a good story now. I'm glad you thought of that. Well, that was my last question. Do you have anything else you want to add or any last piece of advice to the girls?
No, I mean, I think it's like, what's really exciting today is I think there's a lot of role models. I don't know, when I was growing up, there was less so. I mean, today's a monumental day, or yesterday was, with Kamala, obviously being, the nominee, as well. And so I just think there's a lot of women doing really incredible things. And I see women who are younger and younger doing just amazing, amazing things. So like, don't be afraid. And I'll leave everybody with this piece of advice. Like, what's the worst that can possibly happen? Like, you fail, it doesn't work, and you learn something. Like, who cares? I think this idea of like fear of failure, fear of looking bad, like that, you only learn when you don't do something right. Like, that's how kind of we all learn every day. And so like, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid, because the upside is you learn something and that helps you on your next thing.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much. And thank you for your time today. I can't wait to share this with Sweet.